Hello, welcome to episode 12 of the Bedroom Studios official podcast. We are not in the studio right now. We're actually in Uptown St. John in O'Leary's Pub, and I'm joined with Darren Robertson today, aka the Dawg of Port City Junk. How you doing there?
Michael, I'm doing fantastic. How are you making out?
I'm doing pretty well. It's my third day here. I arrived Friday night.
Nice.
And it's always a blast to come on up to St. John. The friend group that I've made over here is fantastic. I never feel left out when I step foot into your turf. And I enjoy that.
No, that's good. We're always happy to welcome you. And we appreciate, I know you played back in August at Flavors Fest, and we'll get you a few more opportunities, I'm sure, along the way. And no, we're glad that you're comfortable, and we're glad to have you along when you're here.
I will say, though, it's a lot of I started following a lot of the pages in just for New Brunswick for music and restaurants and all that stuff, and I'm seeing, oh my goodness, everyone's playing everywhere, and it's good to see that, because when I first came here in June, I heard there wasn't really much going on music wise, and then every time I come back, it's there's a lot happening now, which is great.
Yeah, no question at all. I think the province as a whole has really been pushing itself musically, and everybody seems to, maybe a couple years ago it probably wasn't where it is at today, but I think a lot of people definitely over the past couple of years, myself included, have really pulled ourselves up. We've been working hard, and working hard, it's funny, as you know, musicians today, Michael, we've got to book our own stuff, we've got to do all of these things. So it's a lot of work, but the answer is there's a lot of great musicians in this area, absolutely pushing the boundaries, getting their music out there, booking their own shows. I mean, I could start naming them, but I'd be here all day long. And but there's so many great, and I think over the next 5 to 10 years, you're going to see a lot of us really come to service and beyond. It's a beautiful time.
Yeah, some names that I could guess right now will obviously be you as Port City Junk. I can say Balclava with Jeff on the drums,
for sure.
Field Book with Brandon and all that. I mean, I'm with Field Book. Whenever there's a big time for a big band show, I come down here, bring the keyboard, and start going. Yeah. Who else we got here? We got Austin Eatman. We got Jamie Cruikshank there, and she's got her band as well.
Jamie is, I'm telling you, flat out amazing.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I've only seen her twice.
Amazing.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. And the when it comes to, in terms of Nova Scotia versus New Brunswick, I find that the spirit of just the local music scene, the spirit is pretty damn near the same. I like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like to hear that, actually. That's really encouraging to hear.
It's so everyone, again, as you stated, everyone's basically their own manager, right? Yep. The independent artists are their own manager. They're booking their own gigs. They're going to do what they have to do to get their music out. If they can either do it at home, yep, or they go to recording studios, right, and get that stuff done, and to show the world, hey, we actually are talented, and we can put on a good damn show. It's great. And it's also I notice here versus Nova Scotia, it's not really much a piss race. So I've seen it's very competitive over in Halifax.
Okay.
Yeah. Opposing to St. John, it's not competitive at all. And you'll have you got streets of bars everywhere, right? And everyone's playing, right? No one's trying to be oh, I want to play here, I don't want you playing here. And it's over in Halifax, it's I want to play here, I don't want you playing here. It's very competitive. It's a piss race.
There might be a little bit of that underneath, behind the scenes. Obviously, for example, if I get a phone call tomorrow and get announced at some pub somewhere in St. John, obviously it's going to ruffle a few feathers. People are, well, why did he get the call and I didn't, and he got the call and this guy didn't, and she should have gotten it. So I think there's a little bit of that, but we definitely And again, I think it could be a provincial thing. I know St. John for sure. like we have a community basically built around us, right? And I personally think that we do try our best to uplift each other, right? I message all the time with all kinds of, and maybe they don't even want my messages, but I said them like, hey, good luck at this and go get them and go do this. And so and I get a lot of those too from other people, right? So it's definitely, there's a community sense. I think where we don't, and speaking of the competition, because yeah, I mean, Halifax would be crazy because it very likely is exceptionally competitive. But now around here, and I think this is for every musician across North America, across the world, wherever, I believe that, like, I really do, Michael. We're all on the same path, right?
Yeah.
Like, music is the common path that we're all walking together, basically. But each journey itself is like, it's a separate journey, and only that person can have that, right?
100%.
And so the opportunities that you get are not necessarily going to be the opportunities that I get. And I accept that and I see that. So therefore, around here, like, if no matter who it is, when somebody gets announced for something, I'm like, hey, good for them. Because I already know, like, that probably wasn't my opportunity anyways. But a couple days later, my phone rings or I get a message and I'm off somewhere else doing something that somebody else didn't get asked to do, right? So, and I think that's something that we've all built around here together, and I think that is why it definitely seems more like community than competition.
And that's what I like.
Yeah.
And again, as I stated, you guys got a street full of bars, right? You don't have... I'm trying to find basically what the equivalent of Halifax's Argyle Street is, basically. Argyle Street has, like, big things like Dirty Nellies, the Carlton, the Loose Cannon, the Pint. Those are some big ones, especially the Carlton. I'm trying to think what would be a good equivalent to... Goodness, I'd probably say Princess would probably be
Okay.
your guys' Argyle Street.
Okay.
Because you have here, you have Cask and Kettle, you have Pub Down Under, you have, which is just on the Water Street, but you have Wasted Day Brewing.
On Water, yeah.
There's probably a bunch that I'm still not naming. And I mean, also, you have up in the Hampton KV area, you also got a bunch of restaurants and bars that take live music as well.
Yeah.
And some in the Grand Bay Westfield area. But yeah, basically when it comes to, like, you know, what's lack of a better term, you know, the oversaturated music part of your downtown or your city area, it would have to be Princess, because everything's right there.
It is, yeah.
And honestly, it feels more alive on Princess opposing to just walking down Argyle. Argyle is very overstimulating because everyone's walking in every different direction, right? Big lineups at every bar, you know. Only one spot, which is the Carlton, does ticketed events, but it's a lot of just everyone walking everywhere, and it's like, you better, you know, have your shoulders up and your elbows out to walk where you want to walk.
Right.
And but when it comes your turn to play live music, it's like, shit, you know, I gotta do my absolute best to keep butts in seats, you know.
Yeah.
And it's everywhere. Like, that's the big thing. It's like, I've noticed playing live music. I've been doing it for 3 years, almost 3.5 years, and it's all about, you know, keeping butts in seats, because that's when the owners be like, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. I'm going to hire him again and again and again.
Right.
And it's with Halifax. It's very, like, it's so hard because it's like everybody else is trying to be that one person, you know? And again, here it's like everybody is that person already. Like, it's just like, okay, this guy this week, this guy the next week, this guy next week. And it can be for any restaurant or any bar.
Isn't that a beautiful thing, though?
It is a beautiful thing.
Like, it's now that you term it that way and put it that way, like, it really is. It's a beautiful thing, because I think that's actually it. Like, the atmosphere, especially in St. John. I mean, this is where I am. This is where it's all started for me. But just the atmosphere that we've created and allowing people to develop inside of that is, like, it's absolutely amazing. And to hear it the way that you just put it, like, yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
And when it comes to like, you know, community things such as open mics or basically your weekly showcases as well, shining light on people who probably A, won't get the chance, or B, too scared to obtain a chance to play at restaurants.
That could be.
Yeah, it's a good thing. Showcases are good as well, you know, because you have a name for yourself and you like to shine light on those who, you know, probably, you know, can or don't or probably won't push themselves forward. And
Right.
I like stuff like that. I like showcases. Like open mics is basically a get together, very like nonchalant showcase. But when you have that weekly showcase here,
Right.
it's like, okay, I've never heard of this person before, but you know, let's listen, you know, and like go listen to their music if they got music, right?
Right.
And it's like, wow, these guys are friggin' incredible,
Yeah.
right? You know, who does their music for them because it's great.
I'm sitting here laughing like I probably shouldn't get into how, I guess, proud I am of influences that I do Sunday night here at O'Leary's. Oh, and I want to mention that too, Michael. Thank you for letting me do this interview inside O'Leary's today, because this is basically where all of my music started, right? Like the very first open mic that I came to, like the first show that I ever had the opportunity to put on. All this stuff has basically happened in this building. So
This is your
thank
home away
you.
from home.
It basically is, yeah, in a lot of senses, yeah.
I like
And
that.
and it was nice that it came back around to me and that I was able to get the weekly show influences that we do every Sunday. And again, very proud of it. And yes, a couple of years ago when I kind of made the decision to start getting into music, I knew that one advantage that I would have was being able to talk to the venues and book it. And the answer, yeah, like a lot of people probably couldn't reach out and book that show with the venue. It's a bit of a responsibility, but at the same time, I'm exceptionally happy that I was able to do it and that I actually have been, and I want to say one of them because there's quite a few of me around out there. Like, trust me, there are people that are moving far larger mountains than I'm moving. You know what I mean? But anyways, aside from that, yeah, to be able to give somebody an opportunity. Oh, I got to say this. So actually one of the guys playing influences tonight, I'll start dropping names now, but so one of the local guys coming in tonight, Aaron McGlinchey.
I love him.
Aaron's just fantastic guy. And we're out at Fusion. What were we there for? Oh, we're out at Fusion for the Best of Me festival. And Aaron and I are there and we're playing and we're just enjoying it so much because Fusion, another great venue to play at. And Aaron says to me like, oh man, every chance that I could get, I would love to be able to come back and play Fusion. And that same night, Amit, the owner from Fusion, called me over and he said, Darren, I need you to come in. I want you to come in and host something for me bi-weekly every Friday night. And I said, no problem. And then we discussed what it was. And so basically within a few days, or that night or whenever it was, but within a few days, I was able to offer Aaron like the first spot that I was going to do at Fusion. No greater feeling. Knowing that he necessarily might not have made the phone call himself, but I was able to get him back in there. No greater feeling. So yeah, it's a responsibility, and I think I've done as best of a job as I can with it. But it is something that has been a part of my music since day one, and I absolutely love it.
Would you say you're the mayor of your village?
Absolutely not.
No, you don't
No,
think.
I don't think so. I think that if you actually, because see, a mayor would be voted in, right? So I think that if you actually took a vote, I'd probably get voted off the island. But that said, you know what I mean? I might get one or two votes, but I don't think I would put it to a vote that way. And no, I don't think I'm the mayor of anything because, like, again, I do believe that everybody is on a journey with their music. And, like, there's, to term it that way, like, no, because there's people that are moving so many more mountains than I am that are so much larger. And I mean, I could get it like the Austin Eatmans of the world, who just, like, Austin's a personal friend, great guy. I absolutely love the guy. And I think he's one of our next superstars. I just, I don't know at what time, like, I don't know when that happens for him, but it's going to happen for him still. Like, he's that good. And Jamie Como from Jamie Como and the Crooked Teeth, like, another guy, just absolutely moving mountains. And just other people that are, that are in music that are like, I think Hillary Ladd's another great one. She's helped so many people. Like, she could be the mayor way before I ever could. So I do appreciate though that you kind of brought me up in the conversation though.
Yeah, because we have like our music scene in like branches, Sackville, Bedford, Halifax, Dartmouth, maybe basically all HRM. HRM spans to just like before Windsor, to just like right before Elmsdale, basically just a little past the airport. But we call ourselves a village, basically, right? And we have one person who's the mayor, basically, right? Basically voted in by like levels of agreeableness and just like overall like getting things done and just being super friendly to people. That man is Maurice O'Coin, and we call him the mayor of the village.
Okay.
And yeah, he does a lot. Like he, puts out albums. He does like high production. His studio is amazing. Always playing all the time. And he's one of the many few that is in Halifax Ale House, which is a very hard spot to get in.
Okay.
Remember like, ever watch American Psycho and like Dorzio was that big restaurant?
Mm-hmm.
It's like getting into Dorzio.
Okay.
The Halifax Ale House is such a prestigious spot for local musicians, and if you basically get into the ale house, you're a god. And I can only say for a fact there is 4 friends that I know that play the ale house.
Wow.
And Maurice is one of them.
Wow.
But he is a very friendly person. He'll chat your ear off, and he'll talk about wanting to do things with you. He's not a give handouts person.
Right.
He's about, hand up, It's like, I'm not going to spoon feed you this, but here's some knowledge, That's the best way. And I feel that's why I said, it's like, do you think you're the mayor of the village? Because you don't give handouts. You wait for hands up and help with opportunities, not spoon feed people. That's why I say that.
That could be. Because I don't feel that I'm necessarily in a position to spoon feed people, right? Mm-hmm. I don't feel, like financially, I guess I wouldn't. If I could, I would love to be in the position where I, could give somebody money to go record, or to give somebody money to go do a mini tour of the Maritimes, or like, then if I was into that, then I would definitely be the mayor, let's say. But yeah, I wish I could get myself into that point, but I guess I'm where I'm at, and I get to do the things I do. So. And
also another thing I should say is your level of humility, right? You're creating such great feats for the St. John music scene, right? And then you still say, no, there's people better than me, right?
Absolutely.
You are secure. You are one of the most secure people that I've met here, right?
That's interesting. Okay. Yeah.
Right? You don't let a thing faze you. You go, this is me. Mm-hmm. This is how I'm going to present myself. And people still love it.
I had no choice. I had no choice. I'm not. I'm not. Well, I'm not. I always say it anyway, so let's say it on the record. Like, I'm not overly talented, and I know. I believe that I have strong songwriting in me. I do believe that I think I'm writing better songs today than I wrote 6 months ago, than I wrote a year ago. I believe that. I believe that my music has come along a little bit, but overall, I know that I'm not talented. And when I got into all of this, when I sat down with my wife and basically looked her in the eyes and got the okay to go ahead with all this, we said at the time, and I said to her, look, I'm not the next Gordon Lightfoot, or I'm not the next, Jim Cuddy or anything like that, but I do feel that I'm good enough to get it done, what I want to do. You know what I mean? Like the things that I want to accomplish, I felt that there were certain skills there, not necessarily musically, but that I could apply to the whole operation, right? And that is basically what I've done. So going back to your comment, yeah, there's a lot of humility there, because I realize I'm going to tell you, and I get it all the time, and I'm sure you might get this too, maybe not as much as when you first started, but that people will come up to you, well, my brother Billy was supposed to be doing what you were doing, and back in the 80s my father was where you are, and he should have been the next Port City Junk, and all these things. And I do understand that, right? And I have to understand that. But at the same time, I also know inside of me, there are artists in St. John right now musically that absolutely just 1000% eclipse me musically. But if you look at the whole package and the whole operation, some of those are the ones that actually can't get themselves into the venues and to book the shows and to get on stages and whatnot. So, you know what I mean? I guess that's so. Yeah, there's a lot of humility there because I just know that I'm nowhere's near great as far as the music goes.
You're great to me.
Thank you, Michael. I really do, though. I do appreciate it, though. No, I really do.
Yeah, I listened to your stuff when I first came. Second time, I should say, because the first time I was here was New Year's Eve. I was playing with Brandon, Chaska, and Cole. They formed a little band, and I said, "Yeah, I'll be the drummer. Why not?" Because Brandon just threw it my way, and I said, "Yeah, I'll come on up for the." This is first time in New Brunswick on my own. Farthest I've been in New Brunswick because I've always went to Magic Mountain as a kid.
Okay.
So the farthest I'd stop is Magnetic Hill, Moncton area, right?
Yeah.
So it's the first time I've been to St. John back in New Year's Eve, and we put on a wicked good show. I mean, the stakes were high, the pressure was up for a lot of things. 1, Chaska's first show. 2, played in front of a bunch of millionaires.
Wow.
3, one specific millionaire came from Florida to watch us perform.
Holy smokes.
So the pressure was on. I told the guys, don't drink.
Yeah.
Tap your foot if you gotta.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to put on some good-ass music, and people are going to love it.
Yeah.
Right? Some of the best songs that we did were probably Running Down a Dream, Don't Let Me Down, Hey Joe, and maybe, I think, one of the Waylon tunes. Yeah.
Okay.
But they did love it. They did love it. And as soon as we were done, and the DJ took over, and like packed up as fast as we could. After party, just right up at Chaska's place, and it was great. Chaska's first show, of course. After your first show, I will say though, you get that post-show hype. You know what I mean? You play your show, you walk out, and you're like, oh my God, I did that. And when it comes to it, like at this point, I'm just like, shaking hands, saying, thank you, I appreciate that, and all that stuff. Well, just packing up, going home, and you're like, oh, my lower back, I need to lie down. Like, I not to sound, entitled or like snooty or all that, but it's like the post-show hype goes away fast, because I've kind of find it is a bit of an adrenaline rush, and then if you base your whole performance or your whole entitlement based around that first post-show hype, everything's gonna flop afterwards. So you need to know, like, okay, I did that was good, could have done it better, people loved it, that's all that matters. Mm-hmm. People come up, shake my hands, butts were in seats. Yep. Sales are up, mm-hmm. Check the box in my head, go, and just be like, grab the money and run and be like, oh, I did it, And it's good. Like, I'm guessing after you did your first show, did you had post-show hype, didn't you?
Oh my word. I started laughing about a minute ago because as you were talking about it, I'm lucky to have all these stories still fresh in my mind. But so I think it was like the first show that I had put on myself or whatever. And I stopped by one of our institutions here in the Uptown called the R Bar. And they got this one karaoke host there that's a good friend of mine, Drew Thornton. And I'll never, ever, ever forget this. And like I had just finished, I think it was at the Ritchie. And anyways, I'm at the R Bar, a whole bunch of us hanging out. We're outside there for a minute. And I looked at Drew, and I can't remember exactly what he said, but he just looked at me and said something. And I said, yeah, man, I'll see you in 3 days. And I went home and just like completely crashed. Like, I don't want to say like massive depression, but like I went from... Because Michael, I know you know the feeling when you go from that room full of people that are like so excited that you're there, and then all of a sudden an hour or 2 hours later, like it's all over. Like it's done, it's gone. It's just, it happened, and you've got to somehow try to figure out how to make it happen again. And yeah, I'll never forget that. I think I locked myself in a room and cried for 3 days after that.
Oh my God.
I'll never forget that, yeah.
No, yeah, when I first played for the first time, because like I did coffee houses in high school and university. I would just play them, right? And but the first ever gig I had was at like this well-known community spot in Sackville, and It was great. We put on. They said, "Well, you guys, this is your first time. We'll just put you on for 2 hours, and we'll pay you a gift card." And I was like, "Swag, great, great,
Good enough. Yeah.
good
Oh my
enough."
God.
Yeah,
Are
I
you
was like,
kidding me? I
we're
love
amateurs
getting a
over
gift
here,
card.
dude. And yeah, it was great. It felt really great. We had a nice, I think it was like, I'd say 5/8 capacity. It was good, just being on your A game and just playing. And then it came to the point, that spot and a bunch of other spots, but that spot was like, we did 3 times a year.
Wow.
Playing at that spot. And then, of course, owners switched over, so I'm like trying to get in there again. But it was a community spot. Everybody played there. It was called Pizza Town, and they did. Everybody, all my friends played there. And it was one of those spots. It's like, hey guys, we're playing at Pizza Town, and then like 25 people just show up because it's just right in the heart of Sackville.
Isn't that awesome?
Right. And it was
When
like,
you say Sackville, do you mean Sackville or no? You mean Lower Sackville?
I mean,
right?
I mean Nova Scotia, yeah,
Sackville,
Lower
Nova
Sackville,
Scotia.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
because you guys got a Sackville too.
Yeah, we have a Sackville, New Brunswick, and at first I kept going there, and I'm like, we never had a Pizza Town in Sackville, but
No.
sorry, you got it.
But it would just be like that. It's like, hey guys, playing Pizza Town tonight, and then just 20 people show up. And
That's awesome.
It feels great.
Yeah.
And then when it's in the summertime, that's when it gets silly because you have the patio that's open, which holds another 20 people. Right, so everyone is going to be rushing to the outside first, and then everybody has it's the big garage doors, and then everyone's looking right out at you. It's it just feels good to show like it was a good spot because it was anchoring for everybody, and same with kind of with another spot in Sackville, just slightly down the road. Freeman's had higher ceilings, which made the sound incredible. That's another thing. If your sound sounds whack, I'm going to say it right now.
Yeah.
Probably not going to be asked to play again. I was going to make a rhyme, but I couldn't think
Well,
of anything.
in some cases, that's the venue's issue, the sound, I find. But
Yes.
it could depend. It could depend. But you're
And it-
absolutely right, though. If you don't have decent sound, you're just not going to come back. No.
And there's a few spots, as I've played over the years, that have been, like, improved their sound as well. So there was a spot down in Eastern Passage, and I play there all the time, and the manager for the small side, there's 2 sides. There's a small side that holds 50, a big side that holds 250, which is ticketed events. But we always play on the small side. And he goes, you guys got any, like, pointers to, like, fix the sound here? And I was like, you guys ever thought of acoustic foam? And then he goes, no, I never thought of that. So then I come back because I always play the mental health event every year. It's a great opportunity. There's like, oh my goodness, both sides are filled. So, you got 300 people, almost 400 people in there. It's great. But I come to the mental health event back in May, and the whole stage is covered in acoustic treatment foam. So I was like, yeah, that'll do it. And then as of recent, in, I'd say, just at the turn of the fall, or at the turn of autumn, the speakers are finally off the stage and they're mounted on the walls. So you don't get speaker rumble to fuck with your ears.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, yeah. And of course, right off the bat, he has lights on there, a bunch of lights on that stage. And, you got monitor wedges. Like, it's a good setup. It's a great setup now. Like, as of 2 years ago, this setup is greater than what it was.
Awesome.
And now, last time I played there was start of October. I want to play there all the goddamn time now. I want to do 3 times a year again. Hell, maybe even 4 times a year.
Yeah.
And it's just it's good when booking managers listen to the artists as well. Be like, hey, I think this will improve the sound or the overall sound of the spot. Because the ceilings, are medium. But there's no, like, rumble on the stage anymore. Your ears don't get fatigued as much because it's like it's all monitor speaker. It's all monitor speaker, and you don't and you're just there minding your own business. You got room on the stage to walk around. It's great. That's a spot that is
good.
definitely improved.
Yeah. And I think the better the sound, like the better chance you're going to have of making a bit of money off those shows anyways, right? Like
Yeah, of course. Always have a tip jar out, man. Always.
Yeah.
So one thing I want to state, because I have a stage name as well. I don't go by Michael, right? I go by my stage name for like streaming services. I go by the Jazz Enthusiast, right? So, where did the name Port City Junk come from?
Wow, geez, I don't get asked these questions a lot. It's funny, like anyways, people don't ask me a lot of things. I guess they just assume, but okay. So Port City Junk, admittedly, I'll say this right out of the gates. It's a marketing dream. I thought it was going to catch on a little differently, I guess, than it did. But then again, everything in due time, right? Right now, I'm where I'm at. I wish I would have been, like maybe a year ago. But anyways, that's just, things will catch up. But anyways, Port City Junk, I'll bring in another karaoke host here into the story from the R Bar. So a couple years ago, I was trying to just think of a few different things, right? To like few different band name ideas, I guess, or whatever. Like, yeah, I'll just say band name ideas. So I was trying to come up with a couple things, and the Port City Junk hit me at the time because when I first arrived in St. John. And this, I got to be careful too how I say this, but no, this doesn't offend any. No, I just, I don't want to offend, but no, this isn't. But when I first arrived in St. John, there were a lot of people that were kind of in and around a music scene, but it wasn't necessarily quite a music scene, if that makes sense, Michael. So that's I'm like a guy that just came in and thread the quilt all together, right? Is basically how that works. So when I arrived, there were just all these pieces everywhere. And so I started talking to people and, well, okay, I won't get into that, but okay. I started talking to people and just trying to piece some of it back together, right? Like, trying to find ways to get people to work together so that we could further this music scene a little bit. And that's basically what started happening. So Port City Junk itself, I know a lot of people hear the word junk and then they immediately think, oh, well, this is going to be terrible, or that's bad, or that's garbage, or what, you know what I mean? But it actually, in this instance, it basically, yeah, like again, it was all the pieces that were around me that I tried to weave back together, and all the people that I've helped on stage and all of those things, like that's kind of the junk in it. But it's not necessarily mean to say that it was throwaway garbage. I think when I came here, there were a lot of people that were they tried to have bands and they tried to have all these different things, and everybody was just beat up a little bit. So, I mean, it probably looked a little bit like a junkyard, let's say, but I started to piece it. Anyways, and that's where the whole idea, I started with a Port City Junk band, and I'll be honest, I had no idea I was going to be doing so much on my own. Like a couple years ago, I seriously, I'll say it, like I thought we were going to be some version of like a Grateful Dead or so. I thought I was going to have like 20 musicians around me, and I thought we were going to that's how at the time, that's what I thought Port City Junk was going to be. And it's still that in a lot of ways. I got to be careful, I know, because people are going to be like, who does he think he is? But no, it's still, it's got that type of fabric in certain ways to it. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely, it all goes back to community. Like it's got its own sense of community. It really, really does. And, but basically that is where Port City Junk came from. And I'll tie it in with, so this one night I was at the R Bar and I was waiting, my wife works there, and it was about like 3 a.m. or whatever. And I looked at Matt Curry, another just phenomenal St. John musician. Like, holy shit, that guy's on fire. Anyways, I looked at Matt and I said, Matt, like I've got this idea to call my little outfit and I want to call it a Port City Junk Band. And he looked at me in the eyes, Michael, and he said, shut your mouth. And I said, what? I was like, excuse me? Because he'd never talked to me like that before. And he said, no, I mean, like, do not say one more word. And he pulled out a laptop and we got online right that moment. We created the Facebook page and all this stuff, right? And so anyway, but that's basically how Port City Junk in a long way came to be.
Oh, wow. That's a big story right there.
Sorry, I know I'm long-winded.
No, but that's good. You guys, you have, obviously a big origin story, which is great.
Yep.
And the come up has been significant,
Yep.
right? When I first got here, the only person that I knew was Brandon, right? AKA Fieldbook, or
Right.
originally known as Smiling Boy, right? Because I did Smiling Boy back in Wolfville when he was there.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I met him just at an open mic out in Port Williams, and then I just became the bass player, and we did great. We did. I think everybody walked away with nothing less than $90 per show,
Wow.
which is phenomenal.
I would pretty much, if I could do that every show right now, I'd be.
It was
I'd be
great
happy.
because it was either $5 or $10 at the door, and the music was 9 to 12. And it was, 10 minutes to the performance. The workers would come around and say, hey, if you want to stay, we're out to do live music. This is a ticketed event, so, you got to pay if you want to stay, And then people would flood in because on top of that, it's a university town.
Yeah.
So that's why
Wolfville's
we walked away with nothing less than $90. Every person.
Yeah.
It was
great.
It was great.
Yeah.
And coming here, I realized, I was like, wow, this is... When I first came here in December, right? Almost a whole year ago. Goodness, time flies. I was like, so where are the spots to play music, Brandon? And he goes like, oh, there's not a lot. And I was like, what? What do you mean there's not a lot? Like what do you? There's like no music scene here. Like how did you get a spot at the Qplex for New Year's Eve? Like what strings you pull for that one? And it was a big, marketing thing. Like, his father was involved in all that stuff to pull this New Year's Eve event off. But then when I came here in June, that's when I met you. Mm-hmm. And I met all the other musicians, and I was like, wow, okay. So this spot, Wasted Day Brewing, is pretty much like one of the most bitching spots right now.
Wasted Day is a great spot. They've been exceptionally. I know in my case, like they've been exceptionally supportive of my music, and
that's good.
They let me put shows on in there, and they've been really great. And people do like they like going to see shows there, no question.
That's a phenomenal thing because, right off the bat, big stage, high ceilings, nice and loud. It's good. It's real great to have stuff like that. Good sound. Big crowd, because I think there's like 13 tables in that
probably
in that spot alone, just in the back. And I see the bands all the time because I follow Wasted Day all the time. Like it's I see all these bands playing and I'm like, oh my goodness, like these, and then I see them like repeat. I'm like, these guys must be doing friggin' phenomenal. And then I started to branch out myself. And I was like, what other place does live music besides Wasted Day? There's got to be more.
All kinds, there is. Yeah. Yep.
So I've been discovering, as I said earlier, Cask and Kettle, Pub Down Under, O'Leary's, Vito's, Amici's. There's a lot of spots. I've emailed a bunch of spots. I'm just trying to land something here. I'm trying to hit up a maritime midwinter tour.
Okay.
Yeah, hit up a few spots. I'll come here Boxing Day, and then I'll leave New Year's Eve, and they'll do a few shows in Nova Scotia as well.
Okay.
After in tune as 2025 hits. Right off the bat, I last night I actually I did follow-up emails because I was like, hey, just making sure this didn't fly under your radar. Just want to know if there's any decision,
Right. Which you have to do.
Oh, okay.
You have to do it.
Yeah, as much as it's like, I don't want to bother these guys, but I already talked to these guys on the phone before I sent emails out, so I gotta see what they're saying now, and that it all trickles back down to being your own manager and doing all that stuff.
Absolutely.
It's oh my goodness, the spots that I picked for a Friday and Saturday were Cask and Kettle.
Okay. Great spot to play.
And Riverside Country Club.
Where's that? Riverside? Riverside Country Club. I don't even know where that is.
Let me quickly pull that up on my phone real quick. It was, I quickly looked up places to eat in New Brunswick. Then one of the spots that just came up. Riverside Country Club. I even said that to Brandon. He's like, where the hell is that?
Yeah.
So Riverside Country Club is in Rothesay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I know where it is then. I know. I just didn't know that's what the golf club was called. Okay.
Yep. It's
Shit, that'd be a nice little gig. I didn't. Yeah. Do they book stuff?
Yeah, they say they do Saturdays. They do Saturdays.
No way.
And
Holy jeez, I want a Saturday night gig there.
I hit a follow up just last night, and I hit up a follow up with the what do you call it, Cask and Kettle as well, because I called them both on the phone.
Yeah.
Right. I talked with the manager for Riverside twice, and then I sent an email out. Sent the follow up last night. I was on the phone with 2 different locations for Cask and Kettle. I'd honestly like to play Grand Bay Westfield.
Oh my God! I'd love to get in there. I can't get in there, but.
And
nice.
I was on the phone, and they said, "Oh, the booking manager's here right now. She just looked at your email, and she'll send you an email within like 10 minutes." Nothing. I was like, "What?" So I hit him up with that too, and then I got in my tour. I have one date. It's January the 4th, and it's in Truro.
Okay.
So
That's
like,
okay though. Hang in. You'll get something else.
One down, 3 to go.
Yeah. I'll tell you real quickly, a good one for me about that was because people say to me still to this day, like, how the hell, have you heard of the Five and Dime here in Uptown?
Five and Dime, yeah. That place is kind of like insane to get into.
Yeah. So anyways, like a couple people have said to me, like, how the hell did you ever get the Five and Dime? And all I can tell you is like, so for about, I don't know, like 10 to 12 months, not like every week or anything, but every once in a while, I drop Jody is the guy over at Five and Dime. I drop him an email. Just say, hey, listen, like, I'm still in music if you ever want me to come in and do something. And finally, this summer, in August, like, anyways, finally, he got back to me one day. I just dropped a message and just said, hey, Jody, I'm still here. And he wrote back and he said, listen, I've had such bad luck lately. Just come in and do something. And that's literally how I got my Five and Dime debut. But anyways, so I'm going back in there when? Oh, this month, November 21st, to do another show there.
Oh, shit.
I love it. It's a beautiful spot to play. Artists love coming in, and we do really well there. It's
I
great.
do have friends that actually play there a lot.
Who's that?
The Right Swipes.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Sasha.
Yeah.
Yeah. He plays there all the damn time. And I'm like, God damn. And I talked to Brandon, Cole, and Chaska, and I was like, what's it like to get in the Five and Dime? They said, damn near impossible.
It's
like,
almost impossible, yeah.
What? I was like, wow. What? Why?
Yeah.
Like, the place looks great. Right off the bat, you have that, like, low ceiling with the acoustic foam. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that's ideal. Right? You have that acoustic foam, and then it's just, like, this corner, you got your monitor wedge and your speakers and all that. I'm like, how isn't it, like, is it such a prestigious place? Like,
I don't know what it is about it. I played there, I think it was August 22nd was when we went in. And I'll be honest with you, I was drenched at the end of my show. I have never put so much into a show as I did that night. And people afterwards were just like, wow, like, was that ever spirited? But I don't know what it is about the place. It's just, there's something magical. And there's, even when you just go in and play on the stage, like there's something there. It's absolutely just, yeah, it's magical.
That's kind of like we have 2 spots like that. We have Monty's, which is in Dartmouth.
Okay.
Not like downtown Dartmouth, but it's almost there basically. And we have the Carlton as well. Those are basically like, you're a big band, you play there, right? I've done Monty's with my band. I've done Monty's with 3 different bands.
Wow.
And I've done the Carlton with 1. That was with the Brian Doucette band. We were talking before I think we pressed record about, recently being at the Grand Ole Opry for the Josie Awards, because he was nominated for 5 different awards.
Right.
And but yeah, I've had a bunch of opportunities just drumming for him. Both ends of Nova Scotia, playing a bunch of festivals, playing Monty's and playing the Carlton. And the thing about the Carlton, why it's so prestigious, is the person running it has a high value name, and it's Mike Campbell of Much Music.
Wow. Okay.
So that place is prestigious. Wow. Very prestigious. And if you play there and you can keep butts in seats, they love you. They love you. And the what is it? I think it's 85 seats in that place.
Wow.
So when we played there for the first time as a 5-piece band, Brian Doucette band, we sold out. They were literally turning people away because there was all 85 people were there.
Jeez, I'd love to have that feeling.
Triple bagged encore.
Wow.
And
Wow.
Brian pulled me aside. He's like, "Yeah, we sold out. Mike Campbell loves us." And I was like, "Can I play here one time?" He's like, "Probably." Probably. You played a sold out show. But yeah, that's a spot. And then Monty's is also like, that place holds, I think, 250 to 300 people.
Wow.
And they have a specific spot for a disc jockey as well. So, you got your big stage, $30,000 mixer, obviously hundreds of thousands of dollars of equipment on the stage, bass amps, guitar amps, full drum kit, all mic'd, 32-channel mixer, right? And, yeah, the first time I ever played there, it was nerve-wracking because it's like most spots for ticketed events that are big, they'll tell you not to play there again if you don't bring a crowd.
Right.
Which is nerve-wracking. Mm. So, Carlton's one of those spots. Monty's is one of those spots. And when we played Monty's, they said, yeah, you made south of $600. Yeah, you can come back. I was like, thank the fucking Lord. It's nerve-wracking because you set a price and you have to make it fair because so you won't shy people away and you pay all the acts, right? Because it was a triple show act. There was 3 bands and we were headlining.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, everyone's going to be paid fairly, right? So every band's going to get a different lump sum of money because it's total amount over N. N equals, the amount of people that were there. Right. So, and of course, on top of that, there's a cut for it because the production, which is the sound and the lights. And so that's taken out. And then it's just I think we had just south of, I think we had $550 left over. And I think there was 18 of us.
Wow. Over
3 bands or something like that. Wait, no, hold on. No, I'm exaggerating here. One band had 6, one band had 5. We had 5 as well. Yeah. Yeah, so 16. 16. Yeah. So, you took 500, I think it was $550 or $570 over 16.
Yeah.
And then it's just okay, whatever that number is times by the amount of people in the band, send them that money. And that's the thing. I was just what is fair and what's not going to what's going to be fair, not scare people away and put money in the band's pockets.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a tough thing to juggle for sure, yeah.
So the magic number is $15. That's the magic number that I've seen. You had 4 bands.
Yeah.
You start flipping a coin to see, heads $15, tails $20.
Yeah.
Because it's 4 bands, and everybody nowadays, no one's a trio anymore. Everyone's quartet, quintet, sometimes a sextet. And that's where it starts getting tricky because, this band can pull, but it's there's a lot of band members.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone wants to, walk home with a fair bit of change in their pocket. So that's what I find as well. Again, circling back to being your own manager. Yeah. It's a lot of work.
It is.
It's all about not only making yourself look good, it's also about making your band look good. It's about making other bands look good in any form of context. And it's also about just being the most reliable and lovable character in the community. Mm-hmm. It's a lot.
It's a lot of work, yeah.
I even said to myself at the start of this year, what my New Year's resolution was? Not to play as much as I did in 2023.
Interesting.
And a lot of people made fun of me for it. They call me a little bitch,
I'm hoping to play more. I actually did a list of my 2024 recently, and I was surprised how huge it was. And but I'm hoping I can double it in 2025.
So I made a post. I think I didn't know you by then, but I made a post at the turn of the new year for 2024, and I only counted live performances. I didn't count anything behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. I didn't count open mics. I didn't count kitchen parties, and the number came out to 31.
Okay.
Gigs, which is basically 1.25 gigs a month. My bad. That math is incorrect. With one of my bands was basically 1.25 gigs a month.
Okay.
Another one was about 1.1 gigs a month.
Okay.
So the bands I was with my band, Jamming Through the Night. It was a Brian Doucette band. I was with Brandon's band. Did that show at New Year's Eve. And I was like, man, 31 shows. I don't want to do that again. That was a lot.
Depending, I guess, yeah, the size of the shows that you're doing, yeah, that is a lot. Yeah.
One of my friends goes, well, didn't you just play here right before Christmas? And I was like, I'm not counting kitchen parties or open mics. He goes, count kitchen parties and open mics. And I go, oh, geez. Okay. Well, I'll do that for 2024. I'll count kitchen parties and open mics. And I'll count behind the scenes work. You know, if I'm working on videography or sound, like for church.
Right.
Because I've now recently started working at Knox United Church. I've been volunteering there since 2018. One of the musicians.
Okay.
And now it's behind the scenes work, which is the video or live stream, or even working on the sound. So I count those. Everyone asks me to be a sound guy for their show at a restaurant or a bar or whatever. I count that.
Yeah, that's a gig. Like if you're there to paid to do sound or whatever,
Yep.
I'd say that's a gig. Yeah.
Give a wild guess what the number is.
Well, then you're into probably, like if you're now when you say open mics, are you hosting them
Yes.
or attending them? Oh, this
Hosting.
is hosting.
Hosting.
That's a gig, man. I think you got to count that in there. I'd say like once you've done all of that, I mean, you're probably somewhere's up in about, like you're about 110 shows a year, maybe
Oh, no, good sir.
even more than that.
No.
Oh, you're saying less. Okay.
I am
I
confirmed
see all your posts, but I suppose I don't count them all up. But
confirmed right now.
yep.
There is. Oh man, there is just under 90,
Okay.
which is insane.
Okay.
I never thought.
Well, yeah,
of that.
just under. So I wasn't that far off at 110, but yeah, that's good for you. So yeah, if you look at it that way, you might. Yeah. Well, I don't even know if you need to pare that down, but
I didn't think, because I was like, oh, I'm only counting gigs, and I was like, yeah, I did that much. I don't want to do that much gigs again. And then all of a sudden, I was like, okay, I'll count that and see what happens. And
Right.
when I mean kitchen parties, I mean when someone does their name and friends. And I have an amazing friend who
Okay.
does that. Sean Ryan, great singer. He plays like all classic hits, right?
Right.
He's just a straight covers guy, and he'll go for hours. And great voice, never gets tired. And he'll always let everyone play. Like anyone that goes to the show that he knows is a musician, he's like, you come on up and play for a half hour. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, half hour. Okay. And I'll count those as kitchen. I'll count those.
yeah.
Um,
Why not?
it's a lot, like, you know, because you lose track of it, and then when it comes to, you know, you're filling in your planner, and then you realize, you look at your spreadsheet on Excel, and it's like you're in the 90s. You're like, what the fuck? Wasn't like yesterday, like August or something like that?
Yeah.
And you just get hit with it. You're like, what the hell happened here? You know?
Yeah.
It is like, it's a lot. It hits you for a second. Like I don't want to say it's overwhelming, but like, it's like, how did this happen? You know?
I think about that a lot lately. That's kind of I just think about like, because really my turning point, I go back to August. It's so long ago now and it's over, but that was basically the turning point for me. And now there's been days lately I'm just like, holy shit, man, I can't believe I actually kind of almost got where I wanted to be, right? It's crazy.
It's phenomenal. Right. And Flavors Fest, like I counted that too. Like,
Oh, yeah,
because
that
I
was-
played
yeah, that
with
was a good
Fieldbook
gig.
and I did
That was
sound
good.
and I had to fill in. I was the only one representing Halifax. Jane Baker couldn't make it. Her car broke down. So Brandon said, you're going to have to fill in. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay. We'll have fun here.
Yeah,
I didn't,
for sure.
But Flavors Fest, the first Flavors Fest, I'm going to say this, was an enthusiastic success.
I think so.
It was great, start to finish.
I'll admit it was bigger than I thought it was going to be, for sure.
I did a head count. There was about total 75.
Okay.
And that's with
first go?
Yeah, that's with
That's
audience
beautiful.
and musicians.
Yep.
Friggin' phenomenal. And I honestly thought, I was like, man, this is gonna be the first one. There's probably not gonna be a lot of people here, and probably a lot of people were thinking that, right? But of course, Brandon, he loves promoting, right? He'll promote everything until it's like time to go, and it was like posters were everywhere. I think St. John City Market picked it up and put it on one of their big flat screens. Like this was. I was like, okay, this is set. This is determined to happen. Let's see what happens here, and let's see how everyone sounds. And I was like, all right, we have the headphones on. You know, we are. I'm gonna do my absolute best to make everybody sound good here.
Yep.
And it sounded friggin' phenomenal. Oh my goodness, I loved it. Everyone and I met a bunch of people. Right. Everyone did great. Everyone did great, and it shows that there was actually a scene. When I thought, because this is the third time I was here, but second time just vibing in St. John and Grand Bay Westfield and actually being around live music, I was like, there's actually a scene. There's actually really good talent here, right? And then I figured out we're just slightly up the road from Area 506, and I was like, we have someone from Area 506 playing here. Who has played Area 506. So we have talent. And it is nonstop hit after hit after hit.
Yep. That's St. John. Or that's the St. John area, yeah.
Because I heard as soon as the pandemic hit, it just went to the shitter.
It might have. It probably did. Yeah, I wasn't here when that pandemic first hit. Like, when did we move here again? Like, so it was... I said it was 3 years. Wait, we're coming up on 2025. Yeah, April of 2022 is when I moved here. So, yeah, I've been here over 2 years. So, yeah, anyways, yeah, I was here after the pandemic first hit. So, I mean, I like, again, I'll say when I first arrived a couple years ago or whatever, like 2.5 years ago, yeah, it was still in a little bit of pieces, I guess, from all that. So, but it's there. Like the whole, I think, like St. John in particular, this area, I mean, we could be... And I know people are going to laugh their ass off, and they've been laughing at me for saying this for weeks, but I think they could shine the national spotlight on us right now. Like I think we're going to have a really good chance. And do I think it's me? Not necessarily, but do I think though that we do have people here that are going to be able to continue to push it and have a really nice, like big profile and actually make it somewhat big in music? It's coming. Like we're going to push some great people out of here. Yeah.
Also, St. John was ranked at the start of the year #1 best city to visit in Canada.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, everyone says that same thing. It's either really, or interesting.
Right. Yeah, I don't know if I knew that, but that's cool.
I heard it one time, like just at the start of 2024. I'm at work and I have the radio on, and it says, top 5 best places to visit in Canada as of 2024, and St. John made #1. And I was like, I even said that, right? Yeah. And I'm not saying Halifax is better than Nova Scotia or anything, because every spot has its highlights and every spot has its low lights or like low spots. But it's like, really? I mean, the people living here even said, like...
Yeah, when my wife and I first moved here, and the very first spot when we moved here that we went to eat was the Cask and Kettle, and my wife was looking around the restaurant and she couldn't believe it. Like people were so happy to be working, and just like the atmosphere was just awesome. And she's like, "Why couldn't we get this in wherever it was that we were living before?" And I'm like, "It's different. Like everybody around here, like they're used to working, they're happy, they earn their money, they go out and have a good time. Like it's almost 30 years ago, but at the same time, it's such a easy concept, but it's one that really still to this day just helps and gets you through, right? So it really is. It's a magical spot. I think the city of St. John in general, I mean, so our population's around 80,000, I think, right now. Like, I mean, you could crank 100,000 people in here tomorrow, and the city could take it. And it would be the best spot in Canada. Like it is. It's just we don't have the population here to hold it up. But if we did, holy shit, man, it'd be absolutely unstoppable.
Do you know Halifax is 300,000?
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's insane.
Yep.
That's actually insane.
That is insane. Yeah, I don't know if I'd want St. John to hit those numbers, obviously, but if it got up to 180, 200,000, I think that would be a good number for this city. But whatever, it is what it is, and we're where we're at, and I think we're doing a good job of nurturing it for sure.
Now here's a big thing. This is kind of like the hit or miss of music. When it comes to playing live, do people like originals as much as covers?
I'm going to say that I don't know. It's so funny. I guess depending which venue you're at, maybe there are people around here that would tell you like, oh no, like you have to do covers, and you do like you do. But I know in my case, and I think there's a few other singer-songwriters out there that feel the same way. Like a lot of times the way that I play a cover is probably very similar to the way that I'm playing my own music anyways. So therefore I think I get away with, well, I in my case, I know I get away with playing my originals more than covers, but I don't know. Like I think people want to say that it's the cover music, but I don't know if I necessarily buy that. I think that people around here can write music that is palatable. Do I think that they need to become a pop machine and do all that? Absolutely not. But I do think people have to write music that is enjoyable. And once you get to that spot and people are enjoying it, yeah, keep putting that out there. So I guess the overall answer, like for a lot of people, they're going to want the cover songs, but I think in St. John, we've got enough people that are actually open to original music. So
That's because that was always the biggest thing. When I started playing, I was like, man, I want to play originals. Right? And it's just like, you're going to scare people away. That's how it was in like the HRM. I was like, you're going to scare people away if you just do a majority originals, because no one knows you. You're just there to keep them from going away and buying more drinks. And I'm like, okay, so we're basically a show monkey. Cool. And then I was like, well, if I'm going to do covers, I'm going to do covers I like.
Right.
All right. And then it was like, okay, I'm going to have to like wean some of the ones that are like kind of like the real like saucy ones. So something like, say, Marilyn Manson. Right? I'm a big Manson fan.
Okay.
So I wean a few of the softer songs there. But when it comes to like keeping the crowd entertained and like insanely like, horny and all that stuff, I'll hit them with Michael Jackson.
Right.
I'll hit him with Black Keys. I'll hit him with Tom Petty, right? And then I'll go, you want to hear one of mine? And then they're already like buzzed by the time I'm already about to do an original. So it's very formulaic. I shouldn't say, you're like tricking people, right? Because it's just like, oh yeah, do it. Woo, we'll love it. But it's just the fact it's like you have to show them what you're made of with songs that people already know before they can even bear or stomach an original is what I see it as.
Right.
Yeah, and that's for HRM.
Yep.
Does that kind of is that what you see in the SJRM,
I guess like it. Well, I'll give you a great for example. So I know the listeners can't see where we're sitting, but there's a stage right behind us here, right? Like the backstage at O'Leary's, and this is basically like cover band central, right? Like but that's like it's a Friday and Saturday night thing, 10 to midnight basically. People are coming in for the nostalgia and all that, right? So I think that's, so obvious, like it's got its place there. And then a lot of the things that I do though are kind of more like early evening and more like showcase or more like, it's just a bit of a different vibe. So I think again, like I'm able to get away with what I'm doing there. So And I think that, again, like, I think that there is an appetite for all of it. Like, I think all of it is being consumed. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. But I guess it just depends where you are and in which venue. But yeah, but I don't know. I don't feel like, in the case of my music, like, I've just been fortunate that people have kind of gravitated to it a little bit, or whatever the word would be. And I guess maybe I'm just lucky that that I have, written music that is, I guess, slightly palatable, and that people are, able to enjoy and want to come back and see. So
That's always a good thing. That's always a
Yeah.
pat on the back feeling,
Yeah.
Like butts are in seats, and when you're playing originals, and they love it, right?
Yeah.
It's good when you can pull
Absolutely.
that off, right?
Yep.
I play some of my old stuff, and then I just transfer those pop music songs onto the acoustic guitar, and then just let it do whatever. And it's if they like it, I guess,
Yeah.
And it always feels great when someone goes, "Yo, is that one of yours?" And then you go, "Yeah," and they're like, "Yo, that's great, dog."
Yeah.
It's
a good feeling.
That's an incredible feeling.
Yeah. It really, truly is.
So, another question. Let's circle back to influences.
Okay.
So that's here.
Yeah.
And so what was besides, like basically showcasing other artists, so like what is the premise of influences? Like, can you tell us that?
Yeah, basically, like, the show itself, well, I guess, like, through trial and error and just through a lot of things, one day I thought, well, it would be kind of cool if I actually did a show where, like, everybody did one cover song and then one original, and then rotate from there. No, I mean, I'm like, somebody's obviously done this somewhere else, but anyways, it just hit me that around here we weren't doing it. I thought it was kind of a neat concept. I kind of developed it in my own mind on my iPad or whatever, and then just put it aside. And then, so what happened, I guess, back early September, maybe late August, the owner here from O'Leary's bumped into me and said, "Listen, I've got this Sunday night time slot. I'd really like to do something. Let me know if you've got anything in mind." And I said, "Okay, I will." And I went back and thought about it for a couple days, and then I sent him the idea for influences. Myself hosting it, bring in a couple different singer-songwriters, we'll chat, lots of audience engagement, all this really good stuff, eh? And I'll admit I didn't think that I was actually gonna get the shot, but no, the owner got back to me and said, "Listen, you know what? I actually really like the sounds of this. Let's go for it." So here we are.
And that's every Sunday, 6 to 9, right?
Every Sunday, on the front stage at O'Leary's from 6 to 9.
That's great.
Yeah. It's been pretty good.
And you're on, what number are you on? You're in your double digits now, are you?
For this one, no. Tonight's so this would be Volume 8, the 8th one that I've done.
Volume 8.
Yeah, so basically 2 months. Yep.
That's great.
Yeah.
And, oh goodness, we're just flying here. You got a half hour before it starts.
Yeah, like I can't even believe it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Why don't we,
definitely,
let's get started for influences, and let me enjoy what it feels like to be in the audience.
Yeah, exactly. I know. No, we're gonna have a great show tonight. Yeah, no, you are going to love it. I got Aaron McGlinchey coming in. I've got Alex Campbell coming in, who's also my producer. So I'll plug my 2 songs real quickly. I think you met Alex. Didn't Alex play out at Flavors? Maybe he didn't.
Name's not ringing a bell, but a face might.
Oh, maybe. I don't think he did play Flavors now that okay, no, he didn't. But anyways, Alex is, he's been breaking out recently on his own. He's been in a couple different bands. He also does work with me on my songs. She Don't Know It's a Good Day, Homegrown Way 62 East, were all produced by him. But yeah, he's doing some solo stuff as well, and great singer-songwriter, fantastic guy, and I'm happy to have him along.
Well, phenomenal talking with you today.
Yeah, thank you, Michael. I just can't even believe how fast that went. We definitely burned through some time. So.
Hour and 10 right now, dude.
Yeah. No, but thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity. Sorry if I rambled on a little too
No,
much.
that's
but
what we
that's
want to
me.
hear. We want to hear.
That's me.
It's basically how I see it is it's not an interview. This is being real, nothing scripted, you know. And it's basically who, what, where, when, why is this person or this special guest for the week.
Yep.
And we just get to delve into your life, and it's all about music.
No. Well, I appreciate you letting me get all that out. I do want to just say one thing. I know I got very real about a lot of things today, and I don't want anybody that's listening to this if you've made it this far, I don't want anything to be taken necessarily negative. I just want to give it to people real and let people know what's happening, but let them know that they can still work through all of that and actually build themselves into a really nice music career and do what they want to do with it.
1,000%.
Yeah.
It's always good to hit with a realist point of view.
Yep.
Because if you set yourself up as a realist in any context, right, there is no room for high hopes and there's no room for defeat.
Exactly.
And that's how it should be. This is why I said why aren't you the mayor of the village? You know, like you have the authority, you have the stance, you have the power to bring people together. Nothing's negative around you. That's why I think, you are better than how you say you are. That's why I think
Could be. Yeah, I don't know, but
you're a great person.
Thank you. No, I do appreciate that, though. I really do. No, I'm glad to hear that. Thank you.
Again, this is episode 12 of the Bedroom Studios official podcast. I'm Michael Butts. This is Darren Robertson. I always want to say Robinson because I have a friend named Jordan Robinson. But again, Darren Robertson, a.k.a. the Dawg of Port City Junk. Go listen to his music. Go follow his socials. Go listen to, just enjoy his music. If you're in the St. John area and you see his name on a poster, go out to that show. Pay the $10, pay the $15. Go and enjoy that music. And solely not just him, but everybody that's on that bill as well. Thank you so much, Darren.
Thank you, Michael. No, this has been wonderful. Thank you.
All right, signing off. And we're going to find out who's going to be the guest next week.